You know what's wild? I was at a coffee shop last week in this upscale part of town and I watched two people walk in within minutes of each other. First guy rolls up in a 10-year-old Toyota Camry wearing what looked like a $20 sweater from Target and some beat up New Balance sneakers. Orders his coffee, pulls out a black Amex, doesn't even blink at the price. Second person pulls up in a leased BMW, head to toe in designer gear. I'm talking Gucci belt with the double G buckle so big you could see it from across the room. Louis Vuitton backpack, Balenciaga sneakers. Orders a small coffee, pays with a debit card, and I watch him check his bank account on his phone before he confirms the payment. Two people, same coffee shop, completely different financial realities. And here's what messed with my head. The person who looked broke was rich. The person who looked rich was broke. And this isn't an anomaly. This is the pattern. This is what's happening all around us every single day. And most people don't even realize they're caught in the trap. My name is Lee Han, and I've become obsessed with understanding why people spend money they don't have on things that don't build wealth. And what I've discovered is that there's an entire industry built on keeping you poor while making you look successful. So if you've ever felt pressure to buy expensive brands just to feel like you belong, or if you've wondered why actual wealthy people dress so boring, hit that subscribe button and drop a like because what I'm about to break down is going to fundamentally change how you think about money and status. Let's start with a question that nobody wants to answer honestly. Why do we buy expensive branded items? And I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about the stuff with the logo plastered all over it. The belt where the buckle is literally just the brand name in metal. The bag covered in repeating letters and symbols. The shirt where the brand name is bigger than your actual torso. Why? The answer is uncomfortable. We buy these things because we're insecure. We're trying to communicate something to the world around us. We're trying to say, I've made it. I'm successful. I'm worth paying attention to. We're using purchases as a substitute for actual achievement. And the luxury industry knows this. They've spent billions of dollars studying human psychology, understanding our insecurities, and figuring out exactly how to exploit them. Here's how the game works. Luxury brands create two completely different product lines, but they don't advertise it this way. They've got the haute couture stuff, the runway pieces, the $30,000 handbags, and the $15,000 coats that almost nobody actually buys. This stuff exists purely for marketing. It creates a fantasy, it builds a brand image, then they've got what I call the sucker line. The entry-level products, the logo t-shirts for $400, the canvas belts for $600, the keychains for $250. This is where they make their real money. And here's the thing that should make you angry. That $400 logo t-shirt, it costs maybe $8 to manufacture. That's fabric, labor, shipping, everything. The markup is 4,900%. You're not paying for quality. You're paying for the privilege of advertising their company on your body. You are a walking billboard and you paid them for the honor. Let me break down the actual economics of this. When you buy that $400 shirt, here's where your money goes. Maybe $10 for manufacturing, another $20 for retail overhead, store employees, rent, utilities, $30 for marketing, the campaigns that convince you to want the shirt in the first place, and the remaining $340, pure profit margin and brand premium. You're literally paying hundreds of dollars for a logo that cost them 50 cents to print. Now, compare that to what actual wealthy people do. And I'm not talking about celebrity wealthy. I'm talking about the people with real generational wealth, the private equity guys, the venture capitalists, the people who own the companies that make the products. Go look at photos of the richest people in America outside of red carpet events. What are they wearing? Boring stuff. A plain navy sweater, regular jeans, simple watches you wouldn't recognize unless you're deep into watch culture, shoes with no visible branding. They're not trying to look wealthy, they don't need to. Their bank accounts do the talking. This is what's called counter signaling. When you have real wealth, real power, you don't need to prove anything to strangers. You can wear a $30 sweater because your net worth isn't tied to your outfit. The validation comes from your actual financial position, not from whether someone at the grocery store recognizes your belt. But here's where it gets really dark. The luxury industry specifically targets communities and demographics that are economically vulnerable. They market aggressively to young people, to minority communities, to anyone who's been historically excluded from wealth and power. They're selling inclusion. They're saying, buy this product and you're part of the club. You're one of us. You've made it. It's a lie. That belt doesn't give you equity in the company. That bag doesn't give you a seat at the table. It gives you a receipt. And while you're spending your limited income on depreciating consumer goods, the people who actually have wealth are buying assets. They're buying real estate. They're buying index funds. They're buying businesses. They're buying things that generate more money. This is extraction capitalism at its finest. Convince poor people to spend their money on symbols of wealth instead of actual wealth. Keep them on a hamster wheel where they're constantly buying new stuff to maintain their image while never actually building anything real. Let me show you the math on what this actually costs you. Say you're in your 20s and you get really into luxury fashion. You buy a new designer piece every few months, a pair of sneakers for 800, a bag for 1200, a jacket for 1500. You're spending maybe 4 or 5,000 a year on branded clothing and accessories. Over 10 years, that's $50,000. Now let's say instead of buying that stuff, you took that same money and invested it in a simple S&P 500 index fund. Historically, the market returns about 10% annually. After 10 years, that $50,000 you spent, it would be $130,000 invested. After 20 years, $360,000. After 30 years, over $900,000. You are trading $1 million in wealth for some clothes that will be out of style, worn out, or sitting in the back of your closet within 5 years. You're trading generational wealth for temporary validation from people who don't actually care about you. And let's talk about that validation for a second, because this is a psychological trap that keeps people stuck. There's this thing called the spotlight effect. It's a cognitive bias where we overestimate how much other people are paying attention to us. You think everyone's looking at your shoes. You think people are noticing your bag and judging you based on whether it's designer or not. They're not. They're worried about their own stuff. They're thinking about their own problems, their own insecurities, their own financial stress. You are spending thousands of dollars to impress people who aren't even looking. And on the rare occasion someone does notice your designer gear, what are they actually thinking? If they're wealthy, they think you're trying too hard. If they're not wealthy, they're either intimidated or they're judging you for being wasteful. Either way, you're not getting the respect you think you're buying. Here's something else nobody talks about. Logos go out of style fast. What's cool this year is cringe next year. Fashion moves in cycles, and if your entire wardrobe is built on branded pieces, you have to constantly update it to stay relevant. You're on a subscription model for your own ego. You're paying a monthly fee to feel adequate. Compare that to quiet wealth. A well-made leather jacket with no branding lasts 15 years. A quality pair of boots with no logo lasts a decade. You buy them once, you're done. The loud luxury game forces you to rebuy your status every season. The brands have you trapped in a cycle where you can never stop spending, or you risk looking outdated. Let me tell you about someone I know. We'll call him Marcus. Marcus grew up in a rough neighborhood. He was obsessed with looking successful because he never wanted people to think he was still that broke kid from the projects. As soon as he got his first real job out of college, making $45,000 a year, he immediately started buying designer everything. Gucci loafers, Versace shirts, a Louis Vuitton duffel bag that cost 2 months' rent. He was drowning in credit card debt, but he looked like he was winning. Fast forward 5 years. Marcus is 30, still making about $60,000 a year because he never invested in skills or education. He's got maybe $3,000 in his savings account and about $18,000 in credit card debt from all the designer purchases. He still looks successful in photos, but financially, he's trapped. He can't afford to move out of his tiny apartment. He can't afford to quit his job he hates. He can't afford to take risks or invest in himself because every dollar he makes is already spent on maintaining the image. Compare that to his college roommate Jason. Jason made similar money but wore regular clothes from J.Crew and Uniqlo, drove a used Honda, lived modestly, invested 15% of his income from day one. 5 years later, Jason has $70,000 in investment accounts. He just bought a condo. He's building actual wealth. And here's the kicker. When they meet up, Marcus still thinks he's doing better because Jason doesn't look rich. The illusion is so strong that even the person losing the game thinks they're winning. So how do you break free from this? How do you exit a game that everyone around you is still playing? First, you have to get brutally honest about what you're really buying. When you're about to purchase something with a giant logo, ask yourself, am I buying this because it's the best quality option, or am I buying this because I want other people to see the brand? If the answer is the second one, don't buy it. You're about to pay $1,000 stupid tax. Second, flip the script on luxury. Make a rule for yourself. You can only buy luxury items with money that your assets generate, not money from your labor. You want that Gucci bag? Great. Buy it after your dividend income covers the cost. You want those designer shoes? Awesome. Buy them after your rental property cash flow pays for them. This forces you to become an investor first and a consumer second. It makes luxury a reward for building wealth, not a substitute for it. Third, start paying attention to what actual wealthy people wear and buy, not celebrities, not influencers, not rappers. I'm talking about the people with real, generational, never have to work again wealth. Go look at photos of billionaires at casual events. What are they wearing? Boring stuff. Plain colors, minimal branding. They're focused on comfort and quality, not recognition. There's this fascinating study that looked at the shopping habits of people in different wealth brackets. They found that as net worth increases, logo visibility decreases. The richest people buy the highest quality items, but they specifically choose versions without obvious branding. They want the craftsmanship, not the attention. Meanwhile, people in the lowest wealth bracket spend the highest percentage of their income on visibly branded items. They're trying to signal wealth they don't have, which ensures they'll never actually build it. Fourth, audit who you're trying to impress and why. Make a list. Seriously, write it down. Who are the people whose opinion you're trying to influence with your purchases, your coworkers, your ex, people from high school, strangers on Instagram? Now ask yourself, do these people pay your bills? Do they contribute to your life in any meaningful way? Will they help you when you're in financial trouble? The answer is almost always no. You're spending real money to impress people who have zero actual impact on your life. Here's a framework I use. Before buying any luxury item, I ask 3 questions. 1, if this item had no logo and nobody knew what brand it was, would I still want it? 2, will this item contribute to my ability to generate income? 3, could I invest this money instead and buy the item later with the returns? If the answers are no, no, and yes, I don't buy it. Let me give you a real example. A few years ago, I was looking at watches. I'd saved up some money and I wanted something nice. I was drawn to a Rolex because, well, it's a Rolex. Everyone knows what it is. It's status in metal form. But then I asked myself those 3 questions. Would I want this if nobody knew it was a Rolex? Honestly, no. There were other watches I liked the look of more. Will it help me generate income? No, it's a watch. Could I invest this money instead? Absolutely. So I bought a $500 watch that I actually loved the design of, and I invested the other $9,500. That was 8 years ago. That investment is now worth about $22,000. I could buy 2 Rolexes now if I wanted, but I don't, because I realized the whole thing was about ego, not about actually wanting the watch. Now let's talk about what happens when you opt out of the logo game entirely. At first it feels weird. You feel invisible. You feel like you're not signaling your worth, but then something shifts. You start to realize that your worth isn't in your clothes. Your confidence starts coming from your bank account balance, not from brand recognition. You walk into rooms differently when you know you have 6 months of expenses saved and you're investing consistently. The external validation becomes irrelevant because the internal validation is so strong. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to look wealthy, people start treating you like you actually are wealthy, because real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is confident. Real wealth doesn't need to announce itself. When you're wearing simple, well-fitted clothes and you're calm and confident, people assume you have your life together. When you're head to toe in logos, people assume you're trying too hard, which signals insecurity, which signals you probably don't have it together. There's also this practical element nobody mentions. When you're not wearing expensive branded stuff, you stop worrying about it. You're not paranoid about spilling something on your $800 shirt. You're not stressed about your bag getting stolen. You're not carefully calculating whether you can afford to replace something if it gets damaged. You just live your life. That mental freedom is worth more than any brand name. I want to address something real quick because I know some people are thinking it. What about networking? What about industries where appearance matters? Don't you need to look the part? And yes, in some contexts, appearance matters, but here's the thing. Looking polished and professional is not the same as wearing logos. You can wear a perfectly tailored suit from a mid-tier brand and look more professional than someone in an ill-fitting designer suit. Fit and grooming matter infinitely more than brand names. And in high-level business settings, excessive branding actually hurts you. It signals that you care more about appearing successful than actually being successful. The most powerful people in any room are usually wearing the least flashy outfits. They don't need to prove anything. Their reputation and their results speak for themselves. Here's what I want you to understand. The luxury industry has spent decades convincing you that you need their products to be valuable, that you need their logos to be respected, that you need their brands to be successful. It's all a lie designed to separate you from your money. The truth is, you are valuable regardless of what you wear. Your worth is not outsourced to a fashion house in Paris. Your worth is intrinsic. Every dollar you spend on a logo is a dollar that's not working for you. It's a dollar that's working for them. The brand owners, the shareholders, the executives, they're getting wealthier while you're getting poorer, and they've convinced you it's aspirational. That's the scam. They've made you pay for your own exploitation and feel good about it. So here's your homework. Go through your closet right now. Find the 3 most expensive branded items you own. The stuff with the biggest logos. Look at how much you paid for them. Now calculate what that money would be worth if you'd invested it instead. Use a compound interest calculator. Be honest about how old the items are and what return you could have gotten. I guarantee the number will make you sick. Then make a decision. Are you going to keep playing this game? Are you going to keep funding luxury conglomerates while your net worth stays flat? Or are you going to opt out? Are you going to redirect that money into assets that actually build wealth? The status game is designed so that everyone loses except the house. The only winning move is not to play. Stop being a billboard. Stop paying thousands of dollars to advertise for companies that don't care about you. Start investing in yourself. Start building real wealth. Start caring more about your bank account than your appearance. 20 years from now, the person in the logo shirt will still be buying logo shirts, still trying to look rich, still broke. The person who opted out will be actually rich, wearing whatever they want, unbothered, by what anyone thinks, because they'll have real financial security. Which person do you want to be? If this video changed how you think about luxury brands and status symbols, Smash that like button and subscribe for more financial truth bombs. Drop a comment and tell me the most ridiculous designer item you've ever seen someone buy who clearly couldn't afford it. Let's call out this trap together. I'm Lee Hen, and I'll see you in the next one.